Hello everybody, welcome to AR News. Despite historical campaign, no black woman won senator or governor races in 2022 midterm. The US will not have any black woman occupying the nation's governor mansions or the senator after Tuesday's midterm election. In the most high-profile gubernatorial race, Democrat states, Abraham was defeated by Georgian Republic government. Brain came for a second time. I may no longer be seeking the office to governor, Abraham said during her concession speech Tuesday night. But I will never stop doing everything in my power to make sure the people in Georgia have a voice. Abraham first made history in 2018 as the first black woman to become a majority party nominee for governor during this 2020 primary session. Abraham was once again among a handful of black women vying for the governors. Election result live updates. Control of House Senators still up for grabs. Here's what we know. 3 of the candidates went on to become the Democratic nominee for governor according to Rutgers University Center for American Women and Politics. They all got challenged from Democrat Yolanda Flowers. Neither of the two races were considering competitive. In the Senate, 4 black Democratic women were major party nominees, according to CAWP, but only 2 were in the competitive race. They both lost race while demanding lost for her bid. Incumbent Senator Marco Rubio in Florida and North Carolina Republic defeated Democrat Cheri Beasley. That none of the black women running for governor or the senator won their races highlights the president's difficulties. Black women continue to face the political despite being the most loyal voting bloc for the Democratic Party. Black women voted for President Joe Biden by a 93% margin. They were key to flipping Georgia blue during the 2020 presidential election, electing Sen Raphael Warnock and Jen Office during the 2021 runoff, and handling control of the senator to Democrats. Yet, black women continue to face systematic barriers, including gender stereotype, access to political donor, and institutional party support when running for elections. When you think about the Democrats Party and the support the black women have continuously given the party, it's disappointing at the best, said Andrina Benjamina, a political scientist at the University of Oklahoma. At worst, it feels energizing. Black women face racism, sexism when running. The confirmation of Ketanji Brown Jackson to the Supreme Court this year and the elevation of Kamala Harris to Vice President in 2020 were launched by many black women's organizations as a sign of progress. But experts said the intersection factor of a white racial resentment and sexism may have contributed to black women losses for political offices this year. What people don't want to talk about the combo of anti-blackness and misogyny that continues hamstring black women Democratic candidates, said Ashley Bailey, politically I strengthens and co-founded the Win of Black, a digital ad campaign that targets black voters. That isn't something that you can just throw money at. Black women remains unrepresented in statewide executive races according to the Higher Heights for America, an organization that helps elect black women and mobilize black female voters. In a report published last year, the group noted black women held just 1.9% of statewide executive offices and only 17 black women have ever held statewide elected executive offices. Kristen Slater, a political scientist at Boston University, said some voters may not have been while seen Abrams as governor material because she doesn't fit stereotypically standard of womanhood. Including not being married or having children, Stacey Abrams is a large black woman with natural hair, and researchers have shown that these things matter for how voters evaluate her competency, her warmth, her personality, her electability, said Slaughter. Black women in Senate are unsuccessful but make some gains elsewhere. There were some black women who did make history Tuesday night. Democrat Summer Lee became the first black woman elected to Congress from Pennsylvania in Massachusetts. Democrats Andrew Campbell is the first black woman elected Attorney General. 1, 2, 3 black women have been elected to Senator. Harris Kamala from California in 2016 and Chicago Democrat Carol Buren Mosley in 1992. After Harris was eliminated to vice president in 2020, there remained no black woman in the Senate. Yet, expected said despite demanding and Belsey losses, more black women will continue to run. Whatever doing to see is refining and redefining our strategy on how we are supporting black women for the office carry. Kerry called it Chisholm effect, a reference to Shirley Chisholm, the first black woman elected to Congress in 1968. In 1972, Chisholm was the first African American and was the first woman to be major party candidate for US president. Black women who ran for higher office 50 years after Chisholm bid for the presidency are the beneficiary of the Chisholm effect, said Kerry. Stacey Abrams, Wally Megan, and Cheri Blasey, in particular women who were running in the Deep South, continued to build on the foundation and are modern day architect of the election that we are going to begin to build for 2024 and 2026, Kerry said. Slater also said that given the prior political experience Abrams, Demings and Baisley held, their losses send a clear sign to black women candidates aspiring for higher offices that they are not a clear pathway on the white male candidates and white women candidates. Abrams was a minority leader in Georgia State House. Deming is a sitting House member. Belsey was a former Supreme Court Chief Justice in North Carolina. Yet Georgetown University political scientist Nadia Brown said black women won't stop organizing despite what happened Tuesday night. I think people cry, they hug, and we regroup, Brown said. One thing about black women organization is that we understand this as a long game and that things oftentimes don't work out in the way that we hope they would, but we don't stop working. 2022, different from 2018 campaign when Abrams first ran for governor 4 years ago. Democrats were not in control of the White House or Congress. Former President Donald Trump was widely unpopular with Democrats, who were itching to take back power from Republican Democrats, rode the blue wave momentum of 2018 midterm and gained back control of the House. Although she narrowly lost the camp by about 55,000 votes, Abrams gained 95% of black voting, including 96% of black women and 93% of black men, according to her campaign. If for sure head down the competition, Georgia would be in 2020, but Abrams could not recreate the same momentum when she ran for governor in 2022. Today, Democrats control Congress and White House throughout the midterm cycle. Democrats face difficult political headwinds, including high inflation and Biden low approval rating, which lead to prediction for a red wave. For much of 2022 campaign, Abrams trailed Kemp in polling. A recent composition of survey from 538 showed Kemp leading Abrams by 7.9 percentage points throughout the campaign cycle. Abrams focused on turning out a court line of minority, young and first-time voters. It wasn't enough to be kept Kemp. Exit polling from NBC showed that 70% of white voters backed up Kemp, while 90% of black voters supported Abrams. More than half of Lanitas, 55% backed up Abrams as Asian American and 54% black women still have a series of bearing at the related to our candidates, said Kerry. president of Higher Heights of America. But in these highly watched races, the women significantly raised money and in many instances outraced their opponents. But there's still work to be done. Baisley in North Carolina outstrained Budd, but was hit with spending from National Republican, including the Senator Leadership Fund, spending around $38 million against the campaign. We have seen for decades that it is incredibly difficult to get the type of investment and resources to allow for black women candidates to be successful. Bryant Bailey said, whether we are talking fundraising by the Democrat parties or other donors and supporters or even media attention, Democratic may have definite political conversation in 2022 as control of the House and Senate is still up for grabs. Midterm elections typically don't favor the party in power, and the US will have one black governor, Democrat Moraes in Maryland. Thank you.